Okay, so I saw someone trying to do this in my Facebook group, and they saw it in a tutorial. Although it wasn't a tutorial, it was one of those videos that's really quick. It just makes things look pretty, but it doesn't actually show you how to do it. So this is how I would do it. So I have my text layer here. It's not rasterized, so it's just a regular text layer. And now I have a layer underneath that. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna just choose white, and I'm just take a regular brush, and I'm just gonna make a dot in the middle, because when you have your lines trailing off, you always want to come to the same spot. So I have a layer underneath that's blank, and that is going to be our dot layer. So dot layer. Okay, so now I'm just going to make a dot here. And we just want to put that in the middle. So that's good. So that's the middle of the word. And I'm also using the snapping guides, so it sort of shows me, if you can see it, it sort of shows me a yellow line where the center of the word is. You can play around with those. They're really useful. Okay, so now I'm going to make a new layer in the middle. I'm going to go ahead and lock this dot layer, but now I have a new layer in the middle. So I'm going to name this 1. So it's just going to be 4 colors since I have 4 letters in my name. So this will be the first color. So let's go with a light green. So I'm going to use the same brush, new layer in the middle, and this is underneath our text layer. So I'm going to start there, make my line, hold it, so then I have this straight line that I can work with. Okay, so that's one edge of the letter. I'm going to start at the same spot, hold it, so now I'm going to make it so it's right at the edge of that D, like so. So the next part is, this is how I would deal with the coloring in part, because this has to be closed in order for this to be colored in. So what I would do is take my text, tap on the N, and lower the opacity. And then I would go back to that layer in the middle, and I would take the same brush with the same color, and I would go around. And the reason why I'm going over this space in the middle is because technically there would be another line here. So technically there would be another line here, but both of these would be colored in with this same green color. So now I'm going to make a new layer, and I'm going to name it 2. You don't have to name them. I'm just doing this so it's a little clearer. So let's go with we'll go with a light blue. Okay, so now we're going to do the same exact thing. We're going to start at the dot. We're going to go up to the first edge of the letter, which is about here. We'll start at the same spot. We'll go up to this edge, hold it until we have our straight line, and now I'm just going to go ahead and close the shape. So now we have two letters with our 2 lines. And I guess I can do this step now. It doesn't really matter when you color them in, but now you can easily color them in. Okay, so third layer, 3. What color shall we use? Maybe a nice like lilac sort of color. Okay, so now we're back on Butterblade. We're on our 3rd new layer. Same spot. Drag up, hold. Okay, it's my fiance talking to the cat. Never fails. I can never really get through one of these. So we have our lines here. We're on... I kind of get confused once I get interrupted. So now we just have to close this shape. Okay, so now we'll make a new layer. We'll rename it 4. And let's take like a pink, but like a magenta-ish pink. Okay, same thing. We'll start at that center point. Hold. We have that one. We need this one. This edge. We need one at this edge. And we need one at this edge. Okay, so now we can just close all of these shapes. Okay, so now, all of these shapes are closed. So I can fill it. And of course, just clean up these little extra lines here. Just make sure you're on the right layer. Oh, you see some here. Okay. That's the one thing with filling. Just make sure your threshold is up. So if you're going to fill a circle, just make sure your threshold isn't like low, because if your threshold is low, then you'll get a lot of these little spots. So you just want to fill, and then make sure your threshold is nice and high. You can make it higher. There we go. So then you don't get those marks. Okay, so now we have our word, and we have our colors. Now the reason why I do it this way is because let's say we didn't like this green. So now we can adjust the green until we have something we like. And same thing goes with any of the other colors. Obviously, you can adjust them if you want them a little more pastel. Orange looks kind of cool. I kind of like that. Now here's another trick that I always do when I'm working on this and I'm not sure and I can't make up my mind. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select all of these, group them, duplicate the group, and then I'll flatten them. So if I wanted to just work on all of them together, now I can change the color of everything. So one thing I just noticed that I forgot to do in the video, well, we can do it really quick right here. So if you want to make these the under parts darker, then just have a darker color of whatever color you're using. So just drag your color down. And for this, I'm just going to make a new layer above, and then I'll merge them. So I'll use the same brush and start from the same point. And I'll do the same thing, like that. And then I'll just close the shape. Now you can, of course, you can make this transparent so you can kind of see your shape. But essentially you're just doing the same exact thing that you did before. Like that. Like that, and then you close the shape. Like that. For this color, we're just going to choose purple. Then we'll go to that layer. Oops. I'll make a new layer above the purple. I'll merge these. Actually, I won't merge them yet. I'll make a new layer above the purple. So now I'm above this purple layer. So then I can, oops, I forgot to make it darker. Make it a little darker. Like that. Like this. And then we'll close the shape. And then go like that. And we'll do the same thing with this one. So I'll make a new layer above. I'll choose the orange color. Make it darker. Same brush. make that to about here. And then we'll make this to about here. And then we'll close the shape. So now when we bring our text to 100%, then it has that bottom effect that they did. I wonder if we can do something with this green here. Let's see. I'll choose the green, make it darker. Let me do a layer above. Same brush. I'm going to do something interesting here since this is a curve. I'm going to close off the shape. And now I'm going to do something really interesting since this isn't a hard edge. I'm going to take my eraser, airbrush. Let's see if this works. Do something like that since it's not a hard edge. So that's another way that you can just make the bottom shapes the way they are in the video. I can't believe I forgot that part. And also, the best part about what we've done is now that this is on a separate layer, now you can rasterize this. You can go to hue saturation, layer, and now you have full control of that color. Okay, so some other really interesting things that you can do. I want to make my background a little bit darker because I always like, it's always fun to have a dark background with these bright colors. Actually, it might be nice to do like a, let me try some other colors out. Okay. So now that we have this, some other fun things you can do to your trails. Oh, also you can hide that white dot because you don't need it. And of course, if you wanted to, you can take your eraser and you can sort of clean up. You know, you can clean this up a little bit. However you choose to clean it up, you can just do another. You can use your eraser and hold it like that. That way you can get it to a nice point. But the eraser works the same way as the paintbrush works. You can erase something, hold it, and you can erase in a straight line as well. Okay, so now we have our layer here. So one thing that's kind of cool is if you use your eraser and use something like a noise brush, and then slowly erase away, and kind of give it some depth. It kind of just gives it some texture. So that's one thing that's kind of fun. And you can play with other brushes and get like a really cool effect. Now the next thing is something that I do because I always do this. You can duplicate the color layer. You can make the top layer, hue saturation, layer. You can make that nice and sort of bright-ish. Now I'm going to take the bottom layer and I'm going to do a nice Gaussian blur. Alright, so I'm going to do it a little bit at first. Duplicate that, take the bottom one, and then really stretch that Gaussian blur. And really pump it out. Look at that. Let me duplicate this one again. So now we have it so it kind of looks like it's glowing. Now let's see if we can make it really... Let's see what happens if we change the color a little bit. I'm just curious. Might see something that looks better. It's kind of a cool rainbow sort of effect. So there's a lot you can do. Here again, you can actually change this. I wonder what it'll look like if I change this to the background color. So I'm going to alpha lock this, and I'm going to do fill layer. Whoops, I forgot to. My iPad is unresponsive sometimes, so I have to use different gestures. Fill layer. Okay, so there's that. It's interesting. It's kind of interesting. So let me duplicate this again. Oh, that's nice and bright. Look at that. That sounds so cheesy, but that's okay. It is what it is. Let me see if I blur this even more. And then let's see if I, let me just merge these. Let's see if I erase away some noise around it. I mean, I think that's cool. I might just have to use this for the icon because I like it. Okay, so I'm not going to go too much further in because I don't want to confuse you. Just go and have fun with it, and just be creative. And I hope that this helped. I hope that I wasn't going too fast on anything, because sometimes I can do that once I start having fun. But yeah, there's a ton of things you can do. So just mess around with some texture brushes, and I really want to make it so that the light is coming from behind them. So I'm just sort of faking it. I'm just sort of enhancing that glow. See this nice orange glow here? Nice orange glow. I'll make it a little bit brighter. Oops. Oh yeah, this is fine. And now I'm just sort of faking that nice glow. Whereas before I was using the Gaussian blur, now I'm just using the airbrush. And I'm just making that glow sort of uniform. I'll do the same thing on this one. Just color. Why is it not color grabbing that? There we go. So I'll just take this blue, and then I'll just sort of enhance the glow around the edges. And I'll grab this nice green because it's a little bit of a different green than the color below it. So I'll just make this a little stronger, and I'll just sort of enhance this. This is why when I make tutorials, like on my, I just put out a new Skillshare tutorial yesterday, and the last video is like half an hour long because anytime I finish something, I continue to like play. I continue to make changes and things like that. So but I decided to add it in because it's just part of my process. So, you know, I like to show everything that I do. Okay. All right, guys. Keep drawing, and I'll catch you in the next video.